Hey guys, Cross here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a quick preseason Velkoz guide. I would just like to clarify that this is going to be an overview, so I won't be going into great detail on what each ability is and how it works, but more of a general overview of runes, playstyles, and some combos that you could use. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. First off, runes. Right now, as of patch 8.23, Dark Harvest is absurdly strong on almost every champion in the game. So for now, Dark Harvest is going to be your best choice. After that, you can take either Cheap Shot or Taste of Blood, depending if you want to do a bit more damage or get some healing from your damage to champions. For the next row, you can take Ghost Poro or Eyeball Collection. I prefer Ghost Poro because the vision can really help you out early, and Eyeball Collection takes quite a while to rev up for minimal benefits. And the last row in Domination Tree, I would recommend Ultimate Hunter, and I'll talk about why here in a second. For your secondary tree, you want to take Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace. With Ultimate Hunter and Presence of Mind, your ult cooldown will be super short in teamfights, and you'll likely be able to get 2 off if it's an extended fight, or be able to get a second ult up for a fight if you get a quick pick. Velkoz's ult is even better with Dark Harvest, as it makes sniping enemies so much easier if they're low. You can get a nice burst from Dark Harvest, as well as the damage from your ult, they're most likely gonna die. For your 3 little baby runes, or whatever they're called down at the bottom, you can either run Scaling CDR or Adaptive Force for the first one. I personally prefer Adaptive Force, but it's up to you. The flex one is going to depend on the matchup, and again depending on the matchup, you'll decide on a defensive rune. Health is going to be the best in most situations unless you really need the early resistances against somebody like a Zed, a Talon, a LeBlanc, or Fizz. After Dark Harvest gets nerfed, keep in mind that these will probably not be the most optimal rune choices, but I'll announce another video then updating y'all on what you need to take. Now moving on from runes, let's get to playstyle. Velkoz is a long-range mage who does crazy amounts of damage, most of that coming from true damage, and he has the ability to provide some self-peel with his Q and with his E. On the other hand, he is very squishy, and he has no mobility. If someone gets on top of you, you're probably dead, so stay behind your team and use your abilities to keep your distance. Early game, you can either hard shove with your W, or you can start Q to get a little bit of poke on the enemy laner. If you started the 2 Adaptive Force runes, your Q will do quite a bit of damage level 1. About 90% of the time though, I would recommend starting W, then getting E and then Q, and then putting 2 more points into W before maxing Q. With 3 points in W, you can instantly clear the wave and look for some great roams. Velkoz's high damage and decent amount of CC make his roams very effective, and you can even snipe some enemies under tower with his ult. Be careful of pathing, and be aware of where the enemy jungler is when you're going for a roam, then go to wherever you feel you can get safely and you feel like you can get a kill. Once mid-game begins and teamfights are starting to break out, try to focus on keeping your farm up, staying behind your tanks, and dealing damage to whoever you can. If you're ahead by now, you can probably one-shot most tanks with an EW-QR combo. Then same thing for late game, you want to stay back, farm up, but most importantly, stay alive. Late game dying can mean a loss for your team, so just try not to die at any cost. Now onto summoner spells. First off, Flash is completely mandatory. Because of Velkoz's lack of mobility, this can completely save your life and get you out of sticky situations. Then, for your second summoner, you have a few options. My personal favorite is Barrier. It can stop you from getting bursted, and it is great for some barrier baits early game. Same idea for heal, but it can be less effective if the enemy team is going to be building Grievous runes or running Ignite. Ghost is another summoner spell I see a lot of people run. It's not bad, it'll give you some move speed that you can use to either dodge skill shots or chase people down, and it's a good choice, but I'm personally not a big fan. Exhaust can also be great in certain matchups. If you're going against somebody that's super bursty and you don't think Barrier will be enough, namely Zed or Syndra, Exhaust can be a great summoner spell to run. Cleanse is also another spell that's great in situational matchups. For champions like Twisted Fate or Zoe who are going to lock you in place and make you a sitting duck, either running Cleanse or building a QSS are going to be mandatory, so I would recommend running Cleanse in these sorts of matchups. One thing I would not recommend is taking Ignite. Velkoz outranges Ignite with his spells, and your main focus should be on staying alive anyways, which is why defensive summoners will be better on Velkoz than offensive ones. For this reason, I also don't recommend Teleport. It might help you a little bit in lane, but Velkoz already has a pretty good laning phase, and it is not really needed. Okay, now finally onto the combos. First of all, in case you didn't know, Velkoz's W is great for dealing with his combos because he can get 2 stacks of his passive, as you just saw, with only 1 spell cast. So keeping that in mind, let's move forward. His most basic combo is just going to be a quick WE combo, and that will proc your passive and deal a ton of damage. This combo is really nice in lane. If you see the enemy laner standing in his minions, he'll often get creep blocked and won't be able to get out, and you can just get a quick WE and chunk him for, you know, a quarter to half their health. It's really good. Building off this combo, if you can land your Q first, slow the enemy, you can go for a WE, or even better, an EW to ensure that they're slowed. This just makes landing your basic combo a little bit easier, and it does deal more damage as well. Keep in mind that if you are landing some combos, to weave in auto attacks when possible, because it'll keep your stacks from falling off, and you can try to proc your passive again and keep landing more combos. Now to some combinations with your ult. The best combo that you can do to deal the most damage is going to be a Q into EWR. That's going to be the most damage that you can do, and this will shred through tanks late game. With the true damage, you can do 3/4 to, you know, the full amount of health to even a tank, and no squishy will even stand a chance with this combo. So any variation of the combos before are going to be great with your ult. It's just some extra damage, it provides an extra slow, it really helps out the team, and it's just great all around. So for some more advanced combos that are a little bit harder to land, you can go for a sideways Q into R combo. This is really hard to land on a moving target, and I would not recommend going for it most of the time, because if you do and you maybe, you know, miss the Q and they get away, then you're just left for the next fight without an ult, and that can be pretty detrimental to your team. A few other combos, you can go for the Q flash. It is a little bit faster. It gives the enemy less reaction time because your Q has a channel. So you can Q and then quickly flash, and it will remove that channel time and allow the enemy to not react in time, and you'll pretty much hit them every time with this combination. You can do it with different speeds, so you can Q, wait a second and then flash, or you can Q flash immediately and then it'll still have a little bit of channel time. The same thing with your R. This is even better with Dark Harvest because you can snipe people from a long ways away, and if they're under 50% health, they'll probably die, so you just go R flash, and it's just like the Q flash. This gives you an absolute absurd amount of range. You can hit this bush from river with an R flash combo. So if someone's backing in that bush, 20% HP, you'll get your Dark Harvest proc as well as some ult damage, and it's probably going to kill them every time. So those are some of most of the Velkoz combos. There might be a few that I left out, but this is anything that you'll ever really use in game. I'd be careful with the flash combos especially, because that is Velkoz's only mobility. If you don't have flash in a fight and someone gets on top of you, you're probably going to die. If you die late game, you're probably going to lose, so just keep that in mind. But that's about it, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.